Yo, what they do, I'm yo.
And I'm Ronny.
Yo, what they do, I'm your host, Aaron J. Jackson, also known as Marvin Bay, and welcome you to I'm laughing at y'all because he just realized what Marvin Bay was, so I just told him.
I didn't realize what it was. I just never heard it before.
Well, never heard it.
It's by Aaron J. Jackson, you know.
But, Marvin Bay is really, how should I say, it's like an alter ego. It's like, because I do my little mixes and stuff like that. So, I get inspired by Marvin.
Mixes, the I-95 mixes.
Right. So I get inspired by Marvin Gaye, so I just call myself Marvin Bay.
We'll have to put that one on a shirt.
Soon.
Look, with the head with the full beard, a little Marvin Bay.
Right. But, we on the 44th episode presented by the FGO Network. And right here we got a special guest. He go by the name of Ronny Hantash from Mint Prints.
Yes,
and,
Ronny.
For the people who don't know who you are, introduce yourself.
I'm Ronny, born and raised Deerfield Beach. Very into clothing, printing, garments, anything related to art, really. I mean, when it comes to art application into the world, graffiti, just visual art, it's kind of what I love, what captures me, what motivates me, what inspires me. And this is my space where we do it all at.
I love the space because it shows you got the graffiti on the wall, and for the people that's not here, explain what's going on around what we got going on.
It's a mess. It's definitely a mess right now. I mean, it's come a long way. I've been in this space here for 7 years. So over those years, it's just layer by layer, it all kind of developed and things came together. But we have our warehouse here. We built out the loft. In the loft, we got just upstairs is all personal stuff from my brand. Downstairs is more workflow for Mint Prints for the shop. All the walls are individually painted by different artists. Over the years, we would just have jams here, and we would just close shop pretty much and have barbecues. Everybody would paint all the walls, and it was just a social thing. It was fun, and it was just a good mix, good way to meet people, good way to just have people introduced to the shop. Lately, now it's just kind of been hung artwork over the graffiti, and I still need to redo it again. I need to patch all these holes, and I want to make some shelves here to put my cameras, raise all the artwork higher, add some more lighting, and just keep advancing. When you got a space, it never feels there. It's always developing. It's always getting better. It's always, the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Never satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long did you have Mint Prints for? How long was the business?
2013 I started. 2012 I started my brand Hypnotized. 2013 it developed into printing for others and just taking on more with it, just the love of the creation. To me it was like, all right, well, I definitely want to have a brand. I want to commit to creating. I love doing this, but let me do it for real. Let me do more. Let me really buy all the machines and figure out how to get even deeper. And it turned into a rabbit hole, man, where things keep coming. You never really know what you open your doors to. And in the game of printing, in the game of creating, it's just creating's different. Creating's a different lane, but in the lane of printing specifically in South Florida, it's another level because everybody needs something, bro. There's no shortage of work. There is always something. There is always people needing more and more and more. So it was, a good step. But then it's what did I get into? Where am I at? So lately, past couple years, is more refining of staying into inspiring projects, creative projects, dealing with less people, dealing with just more depth. Trying to just really get more quality things that make you happy. You don't want to be dealing with bullshit. Fucking I need some Disney shirts. Nah, dude, I'm not the guy. I'll take you down the street. Buddy over there, he got you. But if you're vested in the game, you have a brand, you've been around for a while. It's not something new to you. I'm not really able to give the amount of time that I used to have to, put people on to, all right, these are the steps to getting your brand going and this and that. Now it's more, all right, you got, you're a little deep in the game, what's up, let me help you elevate, let me become, your partner in print, and let's elevate it together, because I'm in a business of relationships. I want to build a relationship with you, and you want to build a relationship with me. If your brand's growing, you're getting, good product, people will keep buying from you, and you'll keep coming back to me, and it's not about who's giving you the cheapest price, bro. It's Mint Prints will look out, Ronny will look out, Cindy will look out, they're nice with it. They'll make sure that you're taken care of, and that's kind of where I've been on, but at the start it wasn't like that. You know, you're saying yes to everything. You're saying yes to whatever it is, man. I got rent, you know, I got to pay these bills. So now it's been a good reflection of like, man, money doesn't do it. You know, it's not always about making sure you're stacking the savings. It's about making sure that you're happy and you're moving every day with a mission and a plan and growing in the right way, and making sure that your own mission and your own values are tied in with, you know, where the company's going and what kind of jobs you're taking on, because, you know, that's what it's about. It's about happiness. And even, you know, today, man, I'm still finding that better balance of happiness and finding what really drives things forward, because every day, bro, it's a test. You know, someone's gonna walk into that door and you know what they got? Money. And it's just like, you know, you gotta watch who you say yes to. You gotta know you gotta say no to people. Headaches, bro, they're everywhere.
So before we go diving into, you know, your career with printing, how was your upbringing growing up in South Florida?
Good, very good. I mean, I was a real, like, my parents were very strict. You know, I wasn't out hanging out in the streets. I wasn't really going out or nothing. Like, I was very just, like, you know, quiet. You know, I did my thing at the house. Like, I would just be online, really. Like, younger years, bro, I was on the internet on just, like, what I was into, bro. Hypebeast forum, ISS forum, like, you know, Nike SB forum. Like, there was just mad different social spots on the internet, and like I wasn't really out like that. My mom, if I wanted to go to the movies, my mom was like, all right, where are we going? Like, what are we watching? I'm not trying to be the kid who's pulling up in high school with his mom with him, you know. So it was just, those freedoms came later, but earlier I was just, you know, I was into what I was into, and that was just clothing and art and sneakers, and I would just spend a lot of time reading up on things and just educating myself on just the history of what it was in that magical realm of street culture, you know what I'm saying? But to me, it was just, yo, I like this. Like, this is dope. Like, this is when I was, you know, 8th grade, 7th grade. It was just, you're seeing it, and it's just like, damn, this is what I'm into. Like, you're seeing stuff. And
But do you think that kind of molded you to where you are now?
Of course, man. I talk about that all the time with Cindy. Who you are as a kid is like who you are as an adult, you know? And if you don't fix things as a kid, if you got problems and ailments that aren't solved when you're young, you know, it really plays a course in you later. And I feel like I was so into, you know, clothing and creating quality things, and just the garment end of it, the feel, the fabric, the texture, the color, the way it's folded, the way it's presented, the way the website looks. I was just always so into that. It's just like, man, how did I get so caught up making these, like, you know, things for people, and I'm just putting my energy into these people's projects, and it's just like, what, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. I feel like I'm whoring myself out, you know? It's just because I got an eye for it. I have a care for it. I have like a taste for it. So it's like, why deal with someone who doesn't share that? But the upbringing definitely, like, just the younger years definitely played a role in that. And then as soon as I was able to hang out and like kind of go out, my mom was cool. Like, I could go just be out all day with my friends. Oh, man, I didn't get in with the best crowd. You know what I'm saying? But again, I was into skateboarding. I was into graffiti. I was into those things. I didn't really always do that. I didn't participate in that, but I was filming it. I was documenting it. I was taking pictures of it. So, you know, I was down with some reckless kids, man. And, hey, that shaped me a lot to be who I am and to be comfortable in my skin. But, you know, you got to really... You take some hits, and you go through some stuff that sucks, and, you know, you lose people, and that's life. That's, you know, growing up and becoming who you are. Like, you feel that and you go through that. But I'm thankful for how my upbringing was, that, like, I was playing inside for those early years and just developing myself, developing my skills, my tastes. I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today if I was out, you know what I'm saying? Like, out, you know, but hey, I'm thankful, you know. I'm thankful that things went how they did, because I feel like I'm in a position of happiness now. There is no ahead or behind. I'm in a position of happiness today, and I'm continually working towards more happiness tomorrow. And yeah, I wouldn't change that for anything, but it was a good balance.
Do you think it also, like, kind of like, I wouldn't even say pressure, but do you think it kind of helped you to have discipline within your career, like by you having like strict parents and stuff like that as well?
Not
too?
really, bro. When you got strict parents, you want to rebel, But I didn't have that feel of rebel.
Right,
I didn't have
right.
that feeling of feeling like, oh, I'm restricted. I got it, I was like, all right, well, all these people are out doing stuff that my parents, told me, what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't out trying to drink and smoke when I was younger. Like,
Right.
I wasn't on that. Like, I was just very on, like, I'm going to do something major. Like, I just knew when I was younger, I'm going to do something major, like, big. Like, I have the talent. I have the skill to do it, and I'm going to do it. So I don't feel like them, like, I never felt like they were, like, limiting me. I felt like, all right, I see why you guys are telling me this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I see all these people, their priorities are gone, Mom. Like, they're just, chasing girls or trying to get drunk and high, and I wasn't on that. And, hey, life hits. You dabble in what you dabble in, you go through life.
Right.
Nobody could stop you from that. That's you versus you. And I just, it made sense to me at that time, and it still makes sense to me now. And so
it can also be a blessing as well too.
Very much so. Very much so.
So, where did you find the love of screen printing? Like, how did you dabble or start dabbling into it?
Through digital printing. I got into DTG first. So that, it wasn't me, like screen printing, you figure out like, all right, like that's where it's at. Like that's the art, I got into printing first and I had a DTG printer. I wouldn't print any of my stuff DTG because I didn't like the full color. I didn't like the feel. I was more screen print enthusiast, just seeing it, just feeling it, like just knowing the process that went into it. And two of the biggest resources for me at that time was RyanNet on YouTube and Catspit on YouTube, and just watching the process and watching that, like, yo,
YouTube University.
Oh, yeah, man. YouTube for everything, man. Everything. I was doing some duct work in the other bay, man.
Yeah.
I'm setting up some AC vents off YouTube. So, that was it. I just felt something that I didn't like, and that pushed me to what I did like, because when you're, like, looking at stuff online and you buy shirts in a store, you don't really know, because manufacturing at that scale is just so large that you don't know if they're doing, discharge or stimulated process, or they're DTG in it, or they're screen printing it. But once you actually have a machine and you're like, all right, man, like, I don't like this, it's just like, all right, well, I definitely like that feel of seeing halftones and just seeing like different color gradients, and that was like more of an art. That is a skill, to be able to separate artwork digitally into film and then have it translate into a shirt. There is such an art to having something come out as a final print how it did digitally, and a lot of people can't do it justice. So for me, that's constantly the game of just like, all right, how could I really wow somebody by making it look exactly how they're thinking it's going to look? Because there's such a gap, you know what I mean? There's so much that could happen from you putting something together on like an iPad or in Photoshop. Everybody's got a different monitor. They're seeing colors differently. Everybody makes their artwork differently. There's so many variables when it comes to printing a job and creating something. Like, every shirt is different. Every artwork is different. Every client's knowledge of art is different. Some people don't even know what vector is, Some people have no clue any of that. So,
and then don't that like how do you, for instance, right, when people don't know, like, how do you go about with that? Like, do you like teach them so it'll be more easy on the next run, or?
Patience. It depends on the person. You know, some people I just totally skip over it and I just don't act like anything's there, and I just know, like, all right, like, they don't know what it is. I know that I have to account for the time that it's going to take to set this up art correctly. Right. But I'll always just ask, like, hey, do you by chance have a PDF, or do you by chance have, another file for it if they're sending me a JPEG? But that comes with, understanding who you're speaking to, who, what they have, what they don't have. And then if someone, like, is serious about, like, yo, man, I'm trying to start, doing this, and I'm trying to start designing myself, just guiding them, like, hey, try and dabble in with Photoshop and Illustrator, Canva if you're just starting out, and then just seeing, like, if they're interested in it, then it's like, all right, I'll spend time to teach you because you actually want to do it. But if you're just coming in and you're just like, hey, man, I need this, and, like, this is what my graphic designer did, I'll just say, all right, man, just tell your graphic designer to send you this, because if you're not doing it and you have somebody else doing it, I'll just tell you what to tell them, and then they'll figure it out.
Right. So what would you say was the steps, because you talked about YouTube earlier, but what were the steps that molded you to know what you know to this day?
Just doing it every day, doing it, putting your hours in.
Right.
Man, for years, I'll be in here 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. to 3 a.m. nonstop every single day. And it was just me, you know, starting out. Now, thankfully, I have an amazing team, good people all around me, and we're constantly pushing. But when it's just you versus the project or you versus what you have to get done, you will figure it out. It might not always be perfect, but you'll get it done.
Right.
And that's really the hardest part for people, I think, is just getting started and doing it and knowing that, like, all right, like, I'm going to figure it out. And whether it's on YouTube, whether you're on forums, whether you're reaching out to other shops or other people or anybody you know who has that knowledge, it's just asking and getting it out there and figuring it out.
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy because it's all really about repetition. The more you do it, the more you get better at it. That's with life in general. You know what I'm saying? So who would you say coming up in the game inspired you to be like, because you mentioned about YouTubers earlier, but like who was the people that hell no, people calling me on the podcast. You can't be doing that. But who were the people that was inspiring you on your journey?
Number one, my cousin Samir Hamid. He's got a brand and shop, Family Matters. That's who got me into printing, my cousin Samir. And at that time, it was digital apparel printing. And I had one employer. I worked at Publix when I was younger. That was the only job I ever had. And I remember he was telling me, like, yo, man, I'm starting to print. You know, I'm doing DTG. Right. And, like, it's working out. You know, I'm making, like, $1,000 a week. And I was like, all right, like, I'm down. Like, I love this, too. Like, I already had a brand at that time. Let me commit to really, like, knowing how to produce stuff. And that was someone who we worked together in those early years. And he was into it. You know, when you have a cousin who's also into the same thing, we were in different states. We're not always talking at that pace, but it was still just someone else who was doing it. And, like, it was good. And he was someone who was just always a step ahead, bro. Samir, my cousin, was just aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Aggressive. For me, I'm a very patient one. I'm a very, you know, I'm a listener. He was, like, very hard body, like, you know, so.
It's kind of similar. I better cut you up, but it's kind of similar to my story with photography because my cousin was into the same shit I'm into. And we kind of similar, but I'm kind of like, yo, let's go. But he's like that, too, but he's always, like, patient as well too, so it's kind of like I feel that correlation. But you were saying about with your cousin and stuff like that.
Yeah, but there's inspiration everywhere, man. In terms of just like printing and branding, bro. Anytime you look anywhere, like somebody's branding something or someone's doing something. But that for me was someone who was just close at heart and, like, you know, was doing it to me how I thought always better than me. So I love that because it gave me that one up of like, all right, I got to do better because if he could do it, I could do it and I could do it better. So that was just always the push with that. But man, nowadays anywhere you go in the world, you will see something. Printing and, like, artwork is everywhere. You'll be in freaking Mexico and you'll see this sign for a tire shop and it's hand painted and they got just the cleanest lettering on it and, like, the colors they're using is just incredible. Like, the inspiration is everywhere and, like, you know, you just gotta fine tune your mind to see the details and everything and just look and just observe and
So when you travel, like, how do you, like, what do you look for? What do you look for inspiration when you just travel around?
Nothing, man. I go on a whim. I just, you know, I go with the flow. I don't think too much. I try to just say yes to things and not overthink stuff and be able to move freely and move happily and not think too much. But yeah, traveling is such a key thing, bro. It drives me crazy when people tell me they don't have a passport, but I can't say that.
Don't be mad at me, but I'm on the way of it, though.
Again, I'm thankful. Again, my parents, I had a passport when I was younger. Like, since, you know, I was 2 years old, they had my passport ready, so I didn't have to go through that struggle. But it is such a powerful piece to the world, and it is the most powerful thing you could have in the world, bro. We are Americans, bro. We are Americans. Thank God, again, I'm American because that's, like, such a powerful passport, you know? Like, we're not out here trying to travel with, like, you know, a weak passport. We got one of the strongest in the world. Like, you got the German passports, the Chinese passports, but, like, an American one is a strong one where you could go anywhere. Certain countries, like, you can't go into other countries if you got a weak passport. Like, if you're from Ukraine, bro, like, you can't go there. I'm sorry, you know? So it's, like, such a blessing that, you know, it's a couple $100, but, like, what is that in reality? You know, what is through that couple $100 you got to pay? And it'll unlock so much for you, man. It'll unlock so much inspiration of just food and culture and just seeing things outside of your regular scope. But that for me is what brings me the most happiness, man. I am definitely just wanderlust, soul, spirit, or just I love to see things. I love to experience. I love to just be out and see the world, because the world is so vast. And I believe that God put us here on the earth to see different cultures and to see different tribes and people and to learn and understand it. You know, like, you're not supposed to just be in your lane working to eat and die. You know, like, I do all this, I have all this to be able to do what's fulfilling to me, and that is to create, to travel, to meet people, to learn languages, to, you know, understand how people think on the other side of the world, because it's so different. You feel me? Like, in China, bro, it is so different. And that's like just one country. Imagine India's a whole nother world, and those are two places I really haven't even gotten to.
Yeah, I be thinking about that too when even though I traveled in the States, but I be thinking about, because I have friends overseas, and just hearing their accents, just hearing the mentality they have, it just amazes me. I can't imagine when I go out there.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful because everyone's so different, you know, and like, everybody's like, oh, you know, you're American. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, you're American. It depends on what country you go to. You know, there's like all the politics and all that. But Americans, man, it's just, there's a reputation behind that. And again, I'm Palestinian American. My parents are from Palestine. My mother is Colombian and Palestinian. My father's fully Palestinian. So they came, you know, my grandparents on my mom's side and my father, they came to America for a better life. You know, they were having struggles in their countries, and they built families here. They built, you know, communities here. And I'm just thankful that I have that experience of understanding and knowing where my parents are from, you know, where the culture derives from, but also having the blessings of living in America, bro, because you're free to practice whatever religion you want. You know?
Versus somewhere else.
Yeah, other countries, bro, they oppress you. France, bro, they oppress you. China, you can't have no religion. You know, I can't say none of that on the podcast. Man. I ain't trying to have nothing. They coming after me. But in certain countries, you can't practice what you want to practice. You know. In America, bro, it's a land of opportunity, bro. If you really want to run it up, there's money to be made here. In a lot of countries, you can't. But, bro, if you broke, hop on fucking Uber, hop on DoorDash, hop on, you know.
There's different opportunities to
so many
to build it. I didn't realize that till, you know, I'll hear stories about other, you know, countries and stuff like that over the years. You know, there's a lot of people down here, we forget that we complain what we complain down here, but it's way better than what it is in certain countries, you know?
Making 4 times here what anybody else would make in another country. I was just in Colombia, bro. Minimum wage out there is $300 a month. So it's like, you know, it just really humbles you knowing that you could work hard, set up your Amazon store, get a good production flow going, get your stuff fulfilled by Amazon, work on your marketing wherever you're at in the world, and be able to have a fully digital business where you're making USD and living somewhere else. And nowadays, bro, with crypto and everything, of just the way things are changing in terms of the global markets and just, you know, decentralized finance and just different exchanges, to me, it's all still new. Like, I never really dabbled in because I always just saw that as gambling. But I had someone who I look up to there telling me, you got to just look out on the investment level and just, it's not about sitting here trying to make quick flips, but it's about understanding technology and understanding kind of where the future's going. And I'm a bet on technology. And, just the way that works in terms of being able to have a currency like that where you're able to have assets lined up that are the same value here as they are in, you know, any other country. You know, you could be in Nigeria, you could be in Ethiopia, you could be in El Salvador, you could be in Brazil. Whatever the cost of an Ethereum is what an Ethereum is. And that's just, you know, crazy. It's mind-boggling, especially with trade, man, because out here, so I remember I was buying something from China, and they wanted a 10% fee for me to use PayPal, and I was like, yo, 10%, like that's hefty, you know, like where, you know, I'm surprised that as deep as we are in crypto, like it's gonna be there soon, where it's just like, all right, let's bypass this. Or I got a guy pay overseas, and he's like, man, I need you to send me a Western Union. I'm like, bro, I gotta go to Publix to send the Western Union. I
use that in a long
There's the fee I gotta pay for the Western Union, and then it's just a pain in the butt, you know, compared to, all right, here, what's your wallet address? Boom, sent. You know, it might take a little bit, but it's done.
Right.
So technology, man, it's always changing, and we're in such a good time to be doing more online and learning more about how to make more online. And with that American passport, it just unlocks so much more because it is something that's just there. And if you're not taking advantage of it, that's on you.
Yeah. Trust me, my homies get on my ass.
It's coming.
It's coming soon.
End of the year goals, man. You go to the courthouse.
Honestly, it definitely is.
If you go to I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if it's. I just went for a renewal, right? But if you go to the post office, they'll take your picture there. I mean, mine was renewed though. I'm sorry. You might have to start it out. I believe you go to the courthouse with your birth certificate and another form of ID. Maybe if you have your social card, and you just go in, fill out the application, and they'll guide you. I mean,
but COVID, they ain't really tripping about COVID because last time somebody told me I have to send a check out through mail and then do all that shit.
Just call.
Yeah.
Even if the COVID block is there, it might be a little bit hard, but you can still do it. You know, I got mine renewed through COVID.
I'm definitely gonna get it through. I'm gonna get it before the year ends. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of my goals for this year.
Hold you down to it. I'm writing that down on my list.
It's, you know, it's just, you know, talking to the people that travels a lot. That, you know, they look at. Once I start having conversations with different people about it, and they look at me crazy, I was like, oh yeah, it's time to get it. It's time to get it.
It's real, man, because there's no other way to really learn and see and experience than just seeing it in other parts of the world and seeing how similar and how different things are when it comes to how people cook food or how people like socialize out at night and nightlife, or just seeing how people, you know, react when they see certain things. Bro, I'm thankful I also look like very ambiguous where I can kind of fit in anywhere. I'll be in any country and they think I'm a local. So I'm thankful for that, where it's just kind of, you know, I'm like a chameleon where I come in and I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know the language, but nobody's trying me because it's just like, all right, like,
yeah. So going back to you know, the business side of everything, what would you say has to be like the mistakes that you took to mold where you're at today? Contracts
are the most important thing in business. Never forget that, especially when you're dealing with large amounts of money. Always have a contract, always have everything written and documented, and just, you know, have those precautions. Protect yourself from big liabilities. You know, don't trust anybody. Don't ever think that, you know, anybody's ever good for their money. And, always just structure. You know what you need to do. Everybody knows what they have to get done. For me, especially, my biggest thing is not having enough written, documented structure and not having everything formatted how I need it to grow. You know, when it comes to hiring people and watching your team grow and to build everything out, it's like very much the more you have written, the more that you have logged, the more that you have things organized, the better it is. And I've just gotten to where I'm at by, you know, having the right, I guess, energy and chemistry where things just worked out, where people could retain what I'm teaching them, but to have the better system of handbooks and to have the better system of just documenting your processes and where you're ordering this from and where this goes and how to do this. For me, it was just, all right, like, it all makes sense in my head. But in order to really grow a business, you got to have that very, very clear and defined, so that way anybody could hop in. And if you're out in any other country in the world, they could just jump right in on beat and you're good. But, yeah, contracts the biggest, and just not getting started earlier on, like, the handbook and documenting and just knowing how everything runs and every person of your team knowing how everything runs, so it's just less weight on you and more infrastructure on your system.
I agree with that because I remember when I first started dealing with business and stuff like that, my homegirl, to this day, I think about what she told me that one time. I got into photography and not when I got into photography, but understanding the business side of it. She said, you got to treat this shit like you was applying for a job when they give you the description, the handbook, when you get hired and all that. So that's what, when you said that, it made me think of what my homegirl was telling me about, you know.
And it hits, and it applies to everything, bro. It's how you tackle anything. Like, if you want to really treat your brand like it is your full-time business, be all, end all, like, it will be that, you know. It will be that, but it's just the energy you're putting in and, like, how you deal with it and how you treat it. Like, if you treat it like, yo, this is going to make me $1 million fucking dollars, it'll do that, you know. If you really put the energy in and you treat it like, you know, you're making your handbooks and you writing out your goals and, like, you got your everyday's agenda, it'll grow. But it's just something that's so hard because it's so easy for it to just flow, you know. But then you're just flowing and you're not really growing like scale, you know. Thankfully for us, it's been good years, healthy years of growth, healthy years of scaling. We made it through some of the hardest years that, you know, most people face, and it's still everything is good. Like, we're profitable, everything is growing, everything is healthy, everything is happy. There's a good energy in here, but it's like, to me, man, never satisfied. It's like,
Never.
nah, like, we need to really be shooting for these big numbers. Like, we need to really make these $100,000 months happen, like, often, and like keep killing that and keep setting those goals, because it's possible. You know that it's possible, but it's like, all right, now it's like really possible. So setting like that demand of excellence for myself is like, you know, first, but then, you know, treating it, because I have all that in my head, but like, am I really applying that to paper? It's like,
right.
I've gotten, you know, great opportunities have come, and we've, you know, superseded it, and everything's gone great, but now it's like, all right, like, how do we keep that going and going and
right.
going, and make that the tempo of how we operate?
Right. Excuse me, in your own words, what would you say is a great print to you?
It depends on what the print is and what the art looks like, but that also depends on the eye of the beholder too, because some people, bro, they like their shit super thick. Some people like their shit, you don't even feel it at all. To me, I mean, I like really, really, really clean halftones and really clean lines, where like you could just tell that the screen was like, there's not too much like blurriness around the edges of the design. Things are very sharp. Like, you know, you're paying attention to make sure you're not getting too much buildup on the underside of your screen. You're making sure that the actual print is smooth and the flash isn't too hot, and that it's not looking like uneven, especially with white ink. White ink's easy for it to get a little like
Smudge.
textured, but you want it real smooth. You want to make sure that it just feels nice. You know, you don't want it to be too thick and heavy. A lot of people like that. To me, I prefer a lighter print. I prefer something that's not too heavy. You want it to be cured at the right temperature, so that way it has like a nice bit of stretch, but not too thick. But that's just like print nerd shit, man. There's so many variables that goes into stuff, but I feel like it's more about like just how it looks, I guess. I don't know. I mean, your feeling too is important, but I don't think too deep on that. I just know that I don't like DTG prints. You know, like, I know I like screen prints. To me, like, I like the thickness, I like the texture, I like, you know,
the feel of it.
But then again, I don't like it too thick. Like, I got this one shirt, man. It was just it's like, you know, sweating. You wear it and you're just like sweating on your back. So that's a trick of like, all right, you got to make sure you're really running that on a 200 mesh. You know, make sure it's a thin underbase, and then you're hitting the top white. So. There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people don't know about that. the little details with like the underbase. Like, a lot of people don't know. Like, for instance, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's like a different color shirt, like a black or whatever, you have to put the underbase in first, and then put the color.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it's crazy how like the little details like that matters. A lot of people don't know what
for
goes
your
on.
shirts, dude, I didn't charge you for this, but I'm doing a top white. You know what I'm saying? Because like, all right, so you run the underbase, right? I'm not gonna run 2 passes of white underbase. I'm running white underbase, red, blue, another hit of white, because I know that if I'm doing 2 hits of white and then the red around it, like, the red is going to be a little bit higher than the white that's under it, right? So to me, I would want that white popping, so we're going to add another hit of white over that. But that's all just technicalities on like how to make things the cleanest, and like people don't always think about. But again, that's print nerd shit that it's just like, all right, like, you know, layering it out. But again, I ain't gonna always charge people for all that. It's just knowing like, all right, kind of what'll look good, because that's what it's about. What'll look good, what'll feel good, what'll be the most quality, what'll make people, you know, happy and want to come back and sell their shirts and it look in retail quality. Like, it's not about having the cheapest price, you know, it's about having the best work, because that's what makes people come back.
Right. And you know, with all that, it makes me like, that's why with me, I never, like, even with not only just like you and the business that we do, like other people like in different businesses and stuff like that, I never complain about the price, or because I understand the production side of everything, because the production things is what matters. You know what I'm saying? The time and effort, and even the setup stuff that you have to go through. And that's why I always tell people, don't complain about this shit. Don't try to get everything for cheap, because if you're going to get some shit for cheap, you're going to get cheaper results. Have the quality over quantity any day.
As well as service too, man, because a lot of people are just a pain to work with. A lot of people aren't responsive. A lot of people don't communicate well. A lot of people just don't, you know, have that. And I feel like that for me is just something that, again, came from my parents, and just knowing like how to care with stuff and how to talk. And that was something that humbled me recently, was just having such a powerful head on the front end, and someone who was very on top of everything, that when I'm not as in there, you lose a lot, you know, like, and I'm somebody who's very caring and communicative, and, you know, everything was good here, but just always pushing yourself to be above and better with that, because, bro, it's all about the experience too, the quality there and the experience. You know, people don't want to wait 3-4 weeks for their stuff. People want it in a week, you know what I'm saying? 2 weeks max, you know, but they're hitting you up every day like, yo, is it ready? Is it ready? So being able to, just communicate like, hey, man, like, this shirt was supposed to ship in from this warehouse, but it has to come in from here, so it's going to take another couple days. Yo, man, like, this shirt came in with a hole in it. Like, I just put it to the side for you, you know. But communicating those things is so crucial, because a lot of people just, you know what I'm saying, just slip it in there and act like nothing happened.
Right. So what should somebody look forward into a print shop, like a quality print shop? Like,
making sure it's clean. That is my thing, man. I've seen so many just dirty, disgusting shops in my day. But, I mean, that's not the biggest thing, honestly. I'm mad OCD with that. Like, if you come into my space, everything is clean. Our floors are clean. Our ceilings are clean. There's not dust hanging off of everything. Like, it's well lit. Well, good lighting is another major one. Making sure that they got a good flow of AC circulation. Making sure they're not running a sweatshop, because who you're getting your shirts from, you know what I mean? Like, you want to make sure that they're happy, they're having a good day, you know, they're not like sweating over your shirts and they're dripping their sweat onto your garments. Like, you want to make sure that they're in a good environment, they're in a clean environment, they're happy. I mean, shops could be messy, like, I get that, especially if you're running crazy high volume, and I'm just mad OCD with, like, my cleanliness. But hey, like, I like when people come in and, like, you know, I had someone who I looked up to for years, who I first went to 10 years ago to start my brand, came in here last week for the first time, and just seeing his reaction to, like, looking at everything and taking pictures of stuff and just, you know, taking it all in, that to me was just like, that's what, you know, hey, I'm proud that this is my shop, you know, and I came to you to I was trying to get put on by you, and now you're coming to me, and, like, you feel that same feeling when I went to you. So it's like, all right, I'm doing my job right. A lot of people are just looking for the cheapest price. Hey, I get that. A lot of people, you know, hey, everybody has something different. For me, cleanliness and just a good synergy with who's running the operation. You know, I wasn't really with the corporate old dudes. Like, I didn't like that. That pushed me to get my own shop, get my own equipment, start doing it myself, because nobody really cared. Nobody was into it. With me right now, like, if I'm on the phone with somebody, as soon as they tell me what their brand name is, I'm looking them up on Instagram. I'm, you know, trying to see what they're doing. And that, like, people, bro, I'm telling you, people care. People love that I care about that. You know, people are like, damn, man, you really looking at my stuff right now? Like, yeah, what you mean? Like, you know, I got to filter through what we trying to deal with here. But, you know, I like to see what people are making, because that's how I get better. You know, when I'm studying who's reaching out to us, that helps me better my offerings, me better myself and my circumference of things. But yeah, I mean, you just want to have people clean and make sure that people, like, get what you're trying to do, because if you got a brand and you're going to someone who does schools and jerseys, bro, they're going to fuck you up, man. They're going to fuck you up.
I remember that shit back in the days, when I first started my first brand. I ain't going to tell you where it was at, but it was in Hialeah.
Say no more, dog. Say no more. I got someone who just drove up here from Little Haiti, man, to get their work done. Man. Amber alert.
Amber alert.
Pause.
Yeah. It'll go away soon. All right. Yeah, so it was like, I remember I got something embroidered. And, you know, I'm like, shit, it's going to be hard or whatever. You know, I'm excited. When I come back, she said it's ready. When I,
she said it was ready.
So I look at the hats. Man, the stitching was horrible. Like, I had the, you know, the hand sign there on the right side. The shit was all crooked, and I don't even know what. I was just like, I guess, you know what I'm saying. So when you say that, I'm like, yeah, it is true, because all she did was like jerseys and do school stuff.
Poor digitized file. That's probably what it was. The digitizing wasn't right. And I remember, going through that too, man, figuring stuff out. And I was trying to get the cheapest digitized file. And I was like, oh, man, this dude said he could do it for free. I'll use this website to make my DST file, right? And the people who I was dealing with at the time, this was before we were doing embroidery in-house, man. His hats were disgusting, all like loose threads coming up, like they didn't fill properly. So it was just terrible. So, again, I was trying to be cheap. But that's the best way to learn, You just go through it and you figure it out and you say, like, all right, well, that didn't work. Like, let me find a better way to digitize. Let me figure out a better person to do the digitizing.
Right. What are the other services that you provide for Mint Prints?
So the top 3: screen print, DTG printing, which is direct to garment printing, embroidery, stickers, all around just kind of brand guidance, brand consulting, I'd say, of just kind of helping people place things where they should be. We do like a lot of not a lot of, but we have trade accounts with different like paper people, and we can do your business cards, flyers, all that. But I don't like to do that. I like to specialize in apparel. And lately is just trying to help myself and others get through just, purchasing stuff overseas. And that's such a global thing now, or that's such a big thing now in the generation we're in, is the ease of global trade and how much you could get from everywhere. And things are so much easier through the tools we have on the internet. So trying to just better myself with that and help better others with that, because it's something that it wasn't as easy 5 years ago. And it definitely wasn't as easy 10 years ago. So always trying to better that. And, that too. We got super talented designers around us too. So I always just try to plug up homies. If, people need design work, I don't do that. But I'm always happy to kind of guide people to somebody else that definitely does design work, because, there's just so much. There's so much out there, whether it's a website, whether it's a logo, whether it's a flyer for something, whether it's a T-shirt, whether it's a hoodie. We try to just help people get with the right people to do it. But all the apparel stuff we do in-house.
Right. What would you say is the key elements of screen printing?
So there's some key pieces, right? The first piece is going to be your film, which is kind of like the X-ray, which is your design. The next key piece is emulsion, which is the stencil, which is what holds your design into a screen. Water is the activator to that process, and light. So it's through water and light you're able to get the screen, your design, into the screen. From there, it's ink and a squeegee. So you throw ink onto the screen, you run it through a squeegee, you run a squeegee across it, and boom, that's it. As simple as that. There's definitely so many pieces to it. There's adhesives, there's tacks and cleaners and palette tape, and there's a lot of variables, and there's a lot of different pieces to it. But it's just pretty much, what I'm saying, X-ray, stencil, squeegee, ink, out the game.
Yeah. So, what would you say has been the biggest roadblocks you faced growing your business?
Dealing with myself. I got crazy expectations. I got crazy, for me, it's like I should be a lot farther than I am. I battle a lot, just, me versus me. Some days it's just hard to get up out of bed and push, because you're just like, damn, man, I ain't doing enough. My shit sucks. You know what I mean? And then it just takes good people around you to be like, yo, man, come on, tighten up. Just keep going. And, it's always a you versus you battle. Me putting my expectations onto others too, because for me it's since I was a kid, I already knew I will make it happen at all costs. And sometimes if people want to tap out, I'm just like, all right, that's your loss. You know what I mean? Right. But other than that, thankfully I haven't had any crazy external forces that I felt have held me behind. Every problem I've had was just me. Me not going hard enough, me not, committing to things fully, me not knowing how to care for people. I'm great at caring for people and everything, but, can't be perfect, bro. When you're, all right, so having a business is one thing, right? Being an entrepreneur is a different thing, but when I'm a small business owner, man, I got employees, but that's a whole different thing, bro. You got to deal with people's lives. You got to deal with how they're feeling emotionally. You got to deal with Things that are happening with their parents, with if their dog is sick, if they're drinking too much, if they're smoking too much, if they get in a car accident, if something happens at their house, if someone breaks into their crib. There's so much you got to deal with in terms of like human energy, and just kind of making sure like these people who are around you every day who are committing to building the team together with you, making sure they're solid and making sure they're good. And that's something that people don't even think about, bro, because you really got to be full-time therapist in here. And maybe that's just how I run my business, but I make sure that everybody's happy. I make sure that everybody's feeling fulfilled, accomplished, moving towards their goals, not only here under these roofs, but their own lives. You got to make sure people are actively growing for a nicer house. You know what I'm saying? Making sure they're trying to get their cars paid off, making sure that they're growing, whether they want a dog or, trying to get through dealing with a breakup. It's like, it's a lot. And that was something that, you don't really think about. If you're just you got your business, you work for yourself, that's cool, you got it. But when you got people, it's
behind you,
it's a different game, man. Definitely a different game.
And plus, when they see you, they don't look at you like only a boss. They look at you like, damn, I'm seeing somebody that's really doing it. So when they see that, it's like if you give up, it's like, okay, we believed in you. You know what I'm saying? In that type of sense,
It's tricky too, man, because I like to travel. I like to see things that fulfills me, that like has me going. So I just hate too, I like to travel, but then it's like I don't want anybody else to feel less of themselves because of the opportunities I've paved for myself. So I've tried a lot to just not show any of it, like I do it for me. I don't do it to post it on Instagram. I've probably been to 27 countries, but I keep that for me. But then I know they know where I'm at. Like, yo, Ronnie's out for like a week,
Yeah.
So that's also hard to make sure that people don't feel envious or people don't feel less of themselves because of how you're doing it. And yeah, I always, I'm going hard and I'm, try to always keep my work ethic and my pace up. But then there's times where they're probably just like, man, this man sitting on his laptop, I'm out here printing all these shirts and but it's like, hey man, my time, if I'm able to, if anybody ever needs me, I'm there. If you can't solve something, I'll fix it. And then, my time is just in a different spot where I have to maintain relations. I have to make sure that my thoughts are well executed on projects and ideas and put my touch on things. But that's things that other people on the team can't do. And that's just my magic little sauce I got. And I'm thankful for that. But, it's hard with other people to understand. You
the human resources, you the PR, you everything all in one.
Dude, I'm the one who cleans the bathrooms. I'm the one who deals with the pissed off people and they ain't happy. I'm the one who deals with the city. I'm the one who deals with the lawyers. I'm the one who deals with the accountant. I'm the one who deals with
all in one.
Yeah. Thankful, though, man. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Talking about your team, how did you acquire a team?
Life, man, life. All right, so Nelson, I'm at this other shop. This is before I was even doing a lot of stuff in-house. I was out, and then I just saw it in Nelson, man. He was a beast. He was just down for the count, understood it. He was into printing, he was into just, death metal and, all different types of stuff. And he, one day I went in there, and they're like, yeah, we fired him. And I was just like, hold up, man, let me get it. I had his number, but I was just like, hey, man, what happened? I guess they were just, switching stuff up over there. They didn't know what direction they were going in, so I just scooped him, man. But I remember, the old boss told me, before they fired him, that, the guy read the manual to the printer and just figured out how to run it. That was their DTG back in the day, and I was just like, all right, he's into it, Nelson's been with me for probably 6 years, 7 years. Right hand man, master behind the screen prints, beast, man. Just watching the progression, even with the puff stuff, because puff, everybody wants puff, and it's a chemical thing, It's it's a science experiment every time. The shirts are different, the heat is different, the inks are different. So that man is just impressed so much with just how much he's learned and how much testing and you got to go through to really get fire prints. I'm in there testing too, but I'm dealing with a whole lot more than he is, and he's under the pressure of doing it. So it's been good. Cindy, I was at an event live printing, and I was like, yo, man, this girl is hitting on me, bro. Yeah. And then she introduces me to her freaking fiance, Ivan, and I was like, all right, man, maybe she's just friendly. And, we just became freaking super tight. That is, my ace right there. And, I was just signed up to do something for free. And it worked. She wasn't working at the time, and she just next week was ready to – I was like, hey, you interested in working at the shop? She jumped right in and rode up the ranks, and that was it. She just clicked, and I'm so thankful for that friendship and that relationship, because having a woman on your team humbles you, man. You realize how much you suck, and like, you know, she was just, her brain operated at a different way, you know, and that really changed a lot for me, because I was never the structure guy, you know, I was the good feel guy, and her structure really, really helped us move mountains and get through crazy big projects efficiently. One day Marlo just called the shop like, I got terminated and I'm looking for a new job, and Cindy was just like, nah, we don't need this guy. And I was like, yeah, bring him by, like, let's talk to him. He does embroidery, and like, hey, I got an embroidery machine that we haven't been running as efficiently as I would like it. And he came in, and it was at a time where, man, I was running till 4 a.m. every night, and we were running 2 shifts trying to bang big jobs out. And he was just down, you know. He would work with me nonstop, and yeah, it was just boom, he clicked. Yeah. And then my dog Lamar, man, we met. Only person I ever like stayed in touch with from my college days, man. I went to Palm Beach State for 2 years. One day, I'm sitting in class, right? Some man comes up to me and he puts a Cloud clothing card on my desk, right? I was like, all right, man got some freaking, he was either wearing some like black cement 3s or some 4s or something, and he, you know, he's looking, guys like, all right, you know. I was wearing some SBs, and I went back over and I put a Hypnotized business card, and I had digital apparel printing at the time, and I put that on his desk, and ever since then, man, it just clicked, you know. He came in, and Lamar's helped lead us in sales and just bring so many new people through the doors, and just, yeah, it's just always been a part of this since the jump, really, man, like 2014, early days.
That was like a year in.
Yeah, so thankfully, you never really know in life, man. And right now, we totally need somebody else in production to help with Nelson Screen Print and Marlo Embroidering. So if anybody out there is looking to dive into the game, we definitely need somebody. But it just comes with time and experience and just kind of feeling people out. There's been a lot of people who've come through the doors and it just didn't last. And that's, you know, hey, nothing against me, nothing against them. It just wasn't there. But even like of my list of people, not all of them are with me every day in the shop, but they're still a heart and soul and piece of this business. And they own that shit too, bro. This isn't just me. This is a team, you know. Like, I would not be where I am today, first and foremost, without my parents, God, and my team, you know what I mean? Like, it's evident. So bringing people onto the team, the energy is a very important thing, and making sure that, like, they fit, you know, because we're very culture-oriented here, you know. It's like you kind of got to be into it, you know. Yeah. But I am trying to get some older people, man. People who just like wives and kids and, like, you know, just more stable. Like, they're cool to be here at, like, 6:30 in the morning because, like, that's what I would prefer. Like, I want, like, strong, you know, disciplined people. When you're dealing with younger people, bro, it's like, yeah, you can teach people, but it's like, man, I'd rather just pay professionals, man. You let me know what you need, however much an hour, I'll make it work. Just be here every day, on time, on point, you know, and you're good.
Well, you know, we get, you know, this is for every time. If y'all need a job, you know.
Yeah, younger too, man. I'm cool to teach and, like, invest time into somebody, because anybody who would be watching this is clearly qualified to be into it, because they're already soaking up the resources, you know. They're already looking at, like, what's out there. So definitely that would be a top candidate, you know. But for me, it's like, all right, I also, if I'm looking for it, I'm trying to go out, do something I haven't done, which is like hire something different. And
what would you say? We got a couple more questions. What are your future goals for Mint Prints?
Top 3 things. First, garment dyeing. I really, for me personally, bro, I love comfort color shirts. I love, you know, just seeing, like, custom pigment dyes. That's always been something for me. I don't have the space to do that full scale here, but just getting, like, a high temperature, high pressure washing machine that could do that here would be tight. Honestly, Jerry would filthy put me onto that, and he was like, yo, man, like, and I was just like, damn. I started looking into it, and I was like, you know what, like, all right, like, it's not that crazy of something to jump into, you know. If you get your dyes right, if you have the proper equipment, like, it's possible, and nobody around here is doing that. Second would be offering screen print classes and open screen print studio, so that way people could come in, rent out the screen print shop for a couple hours, pretty much on the manual press, 2-hour minimum, bring their shirts, bring, you know, their film, bring whatever they have, and then they could supplement with whatever of ours they need. and just rent it out. You know, there's a lot of things that, like, I'm not going to do. You know, like, if you want me to print over the crotch of a pair of sweatshorts, I'm not going to do it because it's inconsistent, doesn't work out well. But if you want to come rent the space and do it and figure it out because you think that's easy, by all means, run it. Or if, like, there's people who are experienced screen printers and they just need to run a quick little run of discharge and don't have all the stuff at the house, I don't want to deal with the formaldehyde smell, like, cool, you can come run it here, a couple hours and do it. Offering classes, that's one that Nelson and I have been talking about for a minute, but that this year will go into effect. Offering, you know, classes where you come in, get the full rundown of screen printing, go through A to Z with it, and, you know, you'll be off to either come here and rent the space or do it at your house. Third is really getting explosive on live printing and just doing events, you know, being out at places and people seeing the process, people seeing, like, you know, you do it live is just a whole nother dynamic, bro. It is a whole nother dynamic, and people really attach to it, bro. It's like they'll do the marketing for you, bro. They're filming you, they're tagging you, they're posting it up. They're so happy with it. So that for me is like the next thing. We've done it. We've had some great events. Things have been very successful with that, but again, it comes down to planning it and treating it like it's its own full-time business, and to have that really be something that we're getting calls for, because it'll be like friends, like, oh, I mean, a couple clients will call and we'll charge whatever. You got a grand opening over here at the iPic Delray, boom, we'll do that. You got a little bar mitzvah, I bet I'll pull up. Like, here's my rate. You know, all right, you pay that, cool. So really having that, like, you know, into the calendar and into the schedule is gonna be a major one. But those are probably my top 3 advancements. Always structure, getting better, you know, refining, getting better at our processes. But those are the...
Right. So last question. What advice would you give for upcoming shops looking forward to grow their businesses by getting potential clients?
Beyond shops, just don't quit. You know what I'm saying? If you're creating, if you got a brand, if you're selling merch, if you know what I'm saying, you're an artist, whatever it is, if you're rapping, like, just don't quit. That's really the biggest thing, and just keeping it as real as you can in your mind that this is going to happen, this is going to work, and it is real, you know, because that mindset shift is really the first thing. And if you just kind of treat it like in your head, this might work, this might not, it's probably not going to work. But if you know, like, all right, this is real, this for me is where my future is going to be, that is the number one thing. As far as getting potential clients and, like, getting your client base up, just getting out and talk to people. You know, you can't be scared to talk to people. You got to be able to be, you know, just comfortable speaking about what you're passionate about. You got to be able to be comfortable in, you know, situations where you're out. And I love that live printing is a great time to do that, because, you know, we'll be at a cosplay event, or we'll be out there with the damn billionaires. You know, I was at this event, bro. This man had, like, just the craziest exotic car collection, wanted to book me for live printing. And, you know, I'm saying, I'll close some deals in some gym shorts, you know. But, hey, there's a confidence, and people can tell that I know what I'm talking about. I'm passionate about what I'm doing. So just being able to talk to people and communicate is what will lock in clients. Because if you're nervous, if you're starting out, you know, hey, you just got to start and keep pushing it and keep doing it. And again, that applies for if you're pushing your clothing brand, or if you're pushing, you know, your pressure cleaning business, or if you're pushing, you know, your shop. But the shop life, bro, it ain't for everybody, bro. This industry is a very, very tough industry, because it's very all about deadlines. It's very trendy right now. Everybody's trying to start a brand. Everyone's trying to, you know, have something branded. So it's popping right now, and there is definitely money to be made in the print realm. But it takes a toll on you, bro. Like, if I look at all my cousins, bro, I got more gray hair than all of them. My other cousin who's in print, he's straight bald now, you know. And it weighs on you, because people just don't get a lot of things, and they don't really know. So you have to educate them. You have to deal with it. And the bigger you get, the more inquiries you get. You know, there was days where we're getting 100 inquiries a day, bro. People are just hitting you up like, yo, I need this. And, like, you can't do it all, man. I'll be up all night sometimes, quotes and invoices and emails. And I'm trying to get better with my systems and structures and using technology more to leverage, you know, things, getting on my Zapier and all that. But there's no shortage of work out there. But it's funny how you worded it in the angle of shops, because, man, the shops thing, it's out there, bro. I encourage everybody to learn how to screen print and to do it, because it's a very satisfying thing. But the bigger push, man, the bigger talent to have is to be able to sell it, you know, to be able to sell your shirts, to be able to sell your merch, to be able to have your ideas and then execute it where it makes you money, because that's what separates everybody, you know. Like, there's 100 shops out there, but how many other names of them do you know? You know, it's like, I'm thankful that our name, Mint Prince, is known and recognized because the work we've done, the clients we've worked with, and how relentless we've been in just pushing it and getting it out there and getting it out there. And that's the hardest part, getting it out there, getting your name seen, getting, you know, potential larger clients to give you jobs and for you to actually do it and do it successfully and maintain those relations, or it's not like, you know, your name comes up and they're like, oh, yo, that guy, fuck that guy, he fucked me up bad, you know what I'm saying? But hey, it happens with everybody at some point in their career. Like, I can't say that nobody's ever said that about me, because I'm sure when I was just starting out, man, I might have made some mistakes, but I will always man up to it, and I'll always deal with it, and I will always, you know, make it right, do what I can, because I don't want to be the guy who, you know, freaking didn't make it right. Everybody makes mistakes, but you got to just make sure you're the person who gets it right.
Right. So how can the people get a hold of you?
Instagram's probably best, mintprince.co. Email is always preferred, but Instagram's probably the simplest. You can see some of the things we do, get a little view of our shop, and yeah, always happy to help in any way we can, man. Even if it's just questions, whatever, I'm happy to help you with any questions. Screen print, digital print, embroidery. I'm always here, man. I dedicate a lot of my time and my energy into helping others, so, you know, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're at, I'm here.
I appreciate you, man.
Blessings.
Dog, Ronny that nigga, man. Hey,
oh man, I'm
you
just
want
another
to get your
human.
shit done, man, you go to Ronny, man. Fuck all the bullshit, man.
I'm a human, bro. I'm a human, bro. We all fucked up, bro. We all, but you know,
God.
A lot of people don't carry the weight on their head. Like, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna just keep getting better. You know, a lot of people, they just keep going through the same cycle, but like, not a lot of people have that push to just like, all right, and you're one of the few who, like, I love, like, yo, I'm on the gym shit, yo, fucking, and we working on this. All right, we're gonna do this with the, you know, buys. We're gonna do this with the FGO, and like, you know, you're pushing for it, bro.
Right.
And that is what I fiend off of, because not a lot of people are doing that. You know, not a lot of people are really on some like, ugh, you know. A lot of people, you know, they just get lost. You know, they get lost chasing girls, bro. They get lost trying to do things to please other people. And not a lot of people aren't really chasing the fulfillment, you know, the happiness in life. So for me, it's like, thankful I learned at an early age, like, how powerful it is to just feel happiness and to know who you are and to know you're authentic and to know that, bro, I don't need to be wearing no goofy ass outfit to be cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got ink all over my clothes, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want girls, brother, girls will follow me because I'm just doing me. I'm not chasing that, you know? I'm not putting up my stickers in the streets, and you know what I'm saying? They'll be following me. And I just leave them there, you know, because I'm not looking for that. I'm out to put up 1,000 stickers in a night so people see that. People see it, you know? I'm not out going to the club, you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting up, you know? I'm getting up. But that's like, you know, just what I enjoy doing. It's authentic to me, and people could sense that. People could just feel it. Like, all right, like, but thankful, because that's the hardest thing for people, bro. That's the biggest me versus me challenge.
Yeah.
Is knowing who you are and not being, you know, half-stepping with it. I'm not all the way there yet, man.
Yeah, we still trying to figure out day by day. Problem solving every day.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, it's episode 44.
Blessings.
You know?
Guess what?
What happened?
Tomorrow's my birthday.
Nah, for real?
Yeah.
Hey, we dropping the episode tomorrow for real, too.
April 13th, man. I'm 27.
Hey, damn, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Perfect timing.
Thankful. Everything is always perfect timing, man. Everything.
Damn, I'm happy. Damn, so, yeah.
Thank you for just being about it, too, because it'll be like, all right, yo, you down to do this? All right, bet, let's do it Monday. Boom, done, you know? And a lot of people are real like, hey, yo, listen, man, so we can do it tomorrow? It's just, you know, it's like, all right.
Nah, I'm very understanding, because I'm more of, like, I know how to be I know what it'd be like in those shoes. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why I always... It's cool, like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing.
You do it well, though, you know, because not a lot of people have the discipline to do it. You know, it's very easy to just be like, oh, yeah, let's do it another day. Or, oh, yeah, let's do it tomorrow. But just by saying, yo, you want to do it? All right, cool, you want to do it? Let's do it. And then it's done. And then it still takes you a lot more time to put in, bro. You still got to edit it. You got to clean it up. You got to put it together. You got to, you know, hit all the pieces together. So it's like respect, because that takes a ridiculous amount of effort and energy and focus to just do it and just just to complete it, you know, because that's the hardest part, bro. Anybody could do this, you know, but it takes you to actually put it out, you know, it takes you to put it on the internet and for people to see it and for you to push it. That's the sauce. That's the energy. And to relentlessly do it, bro. You're not talking, I did 4 episodes. You know what I mean? I got 44. And it's going to keep going, God willing, to 444 to 4,000, however you take it, you know. But a lot of people, like, they'll get caught up in the path of it, fixating on the editing of it. Or, oh, man, I just got to fix these audio files because it's not perfect. People just cripple themselves, you know, instead of just realizing, all right, you just got to move on to the next one. You got to move on to the next one. You got to just keep the cycle moving. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You're going to grow as long as you just keep on going. It's going to come. You can't just be perfect. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I learned over the years. You know, sometimes I'm hard on myself. Like when you say you hard on yourself at times, like sometimes I get hard on myself. Like, damn, like this shit don't really look like how it should be. But, you know, Aaron, it's going to come. Like, you just keep on going. The quality's going to get better as long as you're going to learn what is quality between X, Y, and Z, you know?
Straight up, man. So, it's crazy, especially when you're on Instagram or you're looking at brands who have been established, you know, for years and years, and you just see, like, again, the creators behind them, but when they're putting stuff out and it's just immaculate, you know? Right. Like every product shot, the copy on every post, if you look at their website, if you look at their store releases, if you look at every detail of it, it is excellence. And it's like, bro, nobody just got there overnight, you know, nobody hit it. But then it just almost puts you down because you see how perfect it is. And you're like, man, why can't I be like that? Like, why can't my stuff look like that? Because when you see it, it just makes you feel something. Like you were talking about, like, what makes a good print. You see it, it just makes you feel something, man. I was out this past weekend and I saw this shirt and I was just like, damn, like that is a really good print. I didn't have to feel it, you know. I just saw it and I was like, damn, like that's fire. And that's like, you know, goes into everything. If you see it and it just it hits. Yeah.
Well, man, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being on the show. It's a real honor, for real. And yeah, man. Episode 44 of the Behind the Beer podcast. Marvin Bay and Ronnie.
We out.